Qatar QSuites are widely recognized as one of the best, if not the best, business class product line today. From the beautifully designed private suites near the windows, to the middle seats that can be adapted into many different configurations. And from the attentive service, to the incredible food, it's easy to see why I was so excited to experience QSuites for myself. In today's video, I'm taking a 15-hour QSuite journey from Doha to Chicago aboard their 777-300ER. Each QSuite is a private pod with a closing door. The window seats are staggered, with half facing forward and half facing backward, and the middle section seats alternate between having two together and then two apart. I selected window seat 5A, which faces backwards. I selected the seat because the backwards facing seats are closer to the window than the forward facing seats. Did the experience live up to the hype, or was it less than I expected? Come along with me today to find out. This past February, I had the opportunity to visit both the United Arab Emirates and Qatar for the very first time. I was happy to finally experience this part of the world and really enjoyed every second of my time there. But I was also really looking forward to my flight back to Chicago because I would be experiencing another first for me, Qatar QSuites, widely recognized as the best business class experience in the skies today. My flight left early in the morning, and because I was eager to try out Qatar's renowned Al Morjan business lounge before my flight, my Uber pickup came while it was still dark outside. There's a special drop-off for first and business class passengers, and the process is very straightforward, with signs always pointing where you need to go. After a fast and pleasant check-in, I headed through security and eventually wound my way to the core of the terminal. Where the iconic yellow bear greeted me in all its glory. I found the right escalator and made my way up to the lounge. It was love at first sight, and I immediately knew that I had made the smart decision when I opted to wake up early in order to have time for it. I think that the Al Morjan Business Class Lounge may have been my favorite lounge yet. I'll be doing a full review soon, so stay tuned for that. My time in the lounge went much too quickly, and before I knew it, the time had come for me to leave and head to the gate. My flight was actually departing from a gate that was quite far away, so I ended up taking a shuttle to get there more quickly. While the Doha International Airport seems fairly spread out, it is well organized and efficient. I made it to my gate with plenty of time to spare. When I got to the gate, I followed the signs pointing to priority boarding and found myself going through a second level of security and having my carry-on luggage scanned once again. But the process was well organized and efficient, and I soon found myself ready to board. There were two jetways for boarding, one for economy and one for first and business class. I headed down the jetway, onto the plane, and down the aisle in search of my seat. As I mentioned earlier, my seat was 5A, and I was so excited when I saw the space that would be my home for the next 15 hours. Waiting for me at my seat were 2 pillows and a blanket, as well as an amenity kit on the side console. The suite provides a very generous amount of space. The display is large and provides a very sharp image. There's also a great legroom and a long but narrow opening that can be used for storage or for your feet when it's time to sleep. Under the side console is a narrow but handy storage space, which is conveniently near the charging ports. There's a handheld remote for the Inflight Entertainment on the side of the console, followed by a universal power outlet, a USB charge port, headphone jack, USB and HDMI ports, and a contactless payment portal, which seems an odd choice. The seat controls are right above. They can be used to adjust your seat, activate the light, or signal Do Not Disturb. Glancing up at the ceiling, I was very relieved to see the air vents because I recently flew Air France without them and was so hot the entire trip. That flight report is coming soon. To the left is a nice-sized storage bin which holds both a bottle of water and the noise-canceling headphones, while still managing to accommodate everything else one might like to keep close at hand during the flight. With the door closed, the Q Suite really feels spacious and certainly provides the most privacy that I've ever experienced in business class. The padded armrest on my right can be lowered for sleeping or raised to rest your arm on while sitting. And similarly, the padded storage bin lid can be raised to accommodate your other arm or lowered to make more room when sleeping. To the left is an adjustable light. And then there's also a coat hook in case you want to hang something. Before takeoff, the flight attendant had dropped off a wet towel and also offered me a glass of champagne. As it was still pretty early in the day, I opted for water instead. I watched the pre-flight safety briefing, and then watched as we pulled away from the jet bridge in preparation for takeoff. My rear-facing seat gave me a great view of the engine. Takeoff was smooth, and I loved watching the Qatar landscape below us. Once the seatbelt signs were turned off, it seemed like a good time to check out the bathroom. It's compact as expected, but clean, well-designed, and well-equipped. I'm a bit of a germaphobe, so the automatic faucets are a big plus in my book. In addition to hand soap, the bathroom also offers hand lotion and face water. And there are more mirrors than anyone could possibly need on a flight. When I got back to my seat, the flight attendant appeared with my cappuccino, warm nuts, and ginger biscuits. He was even able to accommodate my request for honey, which I happily put in my cappuccino. While enjoying the snack, I took some time to look at the printed menus. The seller menu offers champagne, an impressive array of wines, and if wine isn't your thing, there's a page devoted to spirits, beers, cognacs, liqueurs, and cocktails. It was still too early for me to drink though, so I made a couple of mental notes on what I might want to try later. The food menu lets you know that you can dine whenever you want and tailor your meal preferences in any order. In other words, you can order anything you want at any time. I love that. The breakfast menu is listed after the a la carte dinner menu, but I plan to do breakfast first and then schedule my dinner for a couple of hours before arrival. I am a big breakfast eater, so for my first meal I ordered seasonal fresh fruits, Greek yogurt with cinnamon apple compote and toasted walnut granola, the salted caramel croissant with vanilla mascarpone cream, and the Berkshire muesli with almond milk, pistachios, and fresh berries. The meal service itself is actually really incredible. Qatar provides such a nice setup, complete with a tablecloth and candle. For breakfast, they also provide real salt and pepper shakers, butter, jam, and a bread basket with a few different options. The fruit and yogurt were served first, and I was beyond impressed by the freshness and presentation of the fruit. After finishing both, the flight attendant served me a second cappuccino and the salted caramel croissant. This seemed more like a dessert than breakfast, but it was amazing. However, it was too rich to finish. I guess I should have expected that. I was questioning my own judgment by the time the muesli arrived. Why did I think I could eat so much? But I mustered my courage and managed to eat a pretty large share of it, and I can confirm that just like the earlier courses, the muesli was delicious. So now that I was thoroughly stuffed, watching the desert landscape seemed like a great choice of activities. Then, after a few minutes, I decided I could probably muster enough energy to look through the Amenity Kit. The Amenity Kit is faux leather and ivory with black accents. The brand is Diptyque, which I believe is French. When I opened the bag, I thought that the black and white lining was such a beautiful touch, and there was an amazing scent emanating from inside. Already impressed, and I hadn't even looked at the products. Inside I found an insert talking about their eau de toilette, next came the obligatory black socks, eye mask, and earplugs one always finds in these amenity kits. Next came a small bag closed with a Diptyque Paris seal. We'll look to see what's inside it in just a minute. But first, here's the eau de toilette I suspected I would find. It really is such a lovely scent. Now let's look to see what's in the bag. Body lotion, face cream, and nourishing lip balm. All in all, a very solid amenity kit. Qatar provides pajamas and slippers for their long-haul flights, so I ducked into the bathroom to change. And while I was changing, the flight attendant made my seat into a bed, complete with a fitted pad over the seat. She also put a fresh pillowcase over the purple pillow. I closed the door, climbed in, and felt relaxed enough to fall asleep pretty quickly. I'm not a great sleeper, but the comfort of the seat coupled with the privacy was very conducive to rest. I felt like I had more than enough room, but I am small, and I can imagine that if you're tall, the footwell might feel a bit constricting. Also, the seat wasn't completely flat. It was close, but the raised headrest made it slightly less than flat. By the time I awoke, we were flying over Germany. While I couldn't imagine eating a snack after my huge breakfast, I think it's nice that the galley offers self-serve beverage and food options. I arranged my seat in a recliner position and took a look at the in-flight entertainment options. The large display is a touchscreen which you can use to make your selection. Or you can use the handheld if you don't want to stretch. Qatar definitely comes through in the in-flight entertainment department. They offer a huge catalog of international films and TV shows. Frankly, it's almost too many options, so I was actually relieved that I'd decided on a movie before my flight. One of the desert resorts I visited while in the United Arab Emirates had been used as a film location for the movie Dune, and Dune was thankfully one of the options. So I put that on the big screen, and then I selected the flight map for the remote so I could keep an eye on our progress. I really like that Qatar's system allows you to do that. I put on the noise-canceling headphones, which worked really well, and then I settled in to enjoy the show. The great thing about a 15-hour flight is that you have enough time to enjoy breakfast, sleep, watch a long movie, enjoy the view, and then have a 3-course dinner. Before dinner, I wanted to change back into my clothes, so back to the bathroom I went. Every time I visited the bathroom on this flight, the cleanliness was next level. Everything was spotless, it smelled good, and the flight attendants even put a fresh seat cover on the toilet and folded the toilet paper into points. Every single time. This is just another testament to Qatar's incredible level of service. When I arrived back at my seat, I found that the flight attendant had left a hot towel. And minutes later, he was back with a glass of champagne. For dinner, I ordered the classic Arabic mezza with pita bread, the Qatari spiced chicken makbous with dako sauce. Sorry if I'm slaughtering the pronunciation. And for dessert, the sour cherry chocolate mousse cake. The table was set for my meal, again with a white tablecloth and a folk handle. Condiments, and a bread basket with 3 different options. The mezza looked beautiful. The 3 options were pesto hummus, labna tahini, and avocado muhammara. There was also plenty of pita bread. After I ate as much of the starter as I could, my main course arrived, the Qatari spiced chicken. The chicken was actually in the form of a sausage, which I didn't expect. But it was really good, lots of flavor and just the right amount of spice. I had only water with my meal because I was looking forward to the dessert wines. I love dessert wines and I really wanted to try both options. I was served the Portuguese port first, along with my sour cherry chocolate mousse cake. But before I had a chance to start the dessert, the flight attendant was back with my second choice, a sweet white wine from the Bordeaux region. As I've said before, I have a sweet tooth, so trust me when I say that I was in heaven. As we flew over Chicago and prepared to land, I had a chance to collect my thoughts on QSuites and address the question of whether they really are the best business class product flying today. I can answer that question with a resounding yes. First, the hard product clearly stands out from other business class products. It's as close to first class as you can get, and it's actually better than many of the first class products I've flown. With a beautifully designed space, a comfortable lay-flat seat, tall walls, and a closing door, what's not to love? The food and beverage selection was excellent as well, and the concept of ordering whatever you want, whenever you want, is something I wish every airline would implement. And hands down, the service was the best service I have ever experienced in business class. It isn't even a close competition. The cabin crew was simply amazing, constantly available, very proactive, and ready to provide anything I could possibly want. They kept the bathrooms immaculate, provided amazing meal service, made sure I had everything I needed at all times, and they were just so incredibly pleasant for the entire 15-hour journey. I know I usually cover the positives and negatives, but honestly, I'm hard-pressed to come up with any negatives. When the food service and physical space are all top-notch, there's really just nothing to say. The only negative thing I can possibly come up with is that not all of Qatar's planes are equipped with QSuites yet, so you have to be careful when booking. Check out my video on booking Qatar QSuites so you'll know what to look for. I'll put a link in the description below. I always like to let you guys know how much I paid for my flight. To ensure that my reviews are never biased, my flights are never sponsored, and the airlines are never informed I'm doing a review. For this trip, I booked my flight through Qatar Airlines directly rather than through a partner airline, and I paid 70,000 points plus $78.98 in taxes and fees. Not a bad deal. Thanks for coming along with me for my flight in QSuites. Comment below if you have any questions. And if you've had a chance to experience QSuites for yourself, I'd love to hear if you were as impressed as I was. Also, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want more travel content like this. It really helps the channel. After our smooth landing, I headed down the jet bridge and found myself back home again in Chicago. Until next time, happy travels.